some molten butter to the sugar. And we're now going to cream. We're going to cream this sugar until it is a nice, light, fluffy consistency and color. It will have lost most of its sheen, and it will be a bit lighter in color. Typically, you would use brown sugar instead of white sugar here, but sadly, I didn't have any brown sugar left in the house, so I had to use white sugar because I wasn't gonna go to the grocery store for just brown sugar. Slowly but surely, the sugar is becoming lighter in color and getting creamed nicely. So it is time to add the first egg to the mixture. We are now adding the first egg to the mixture and incorporating that into our nicely creamed butter and sugar mixture. Butter and sugar mixture. Now it is looking more like a dough, more like a batter, even though there is not yet any flour in this batter. I am now adding the second egg and incorporating that into the mixture as well. Incorporating it into the mixture as well. I think the sounds that the hand mixer makes are actually quite relaxing. Next up, we have some 24% fat sour cream that I am adding about two tablespoons of into the sugar, egg, and butter mixture and whisking that in by hand using this using the whisk to whisk it in by hand. So it is now this pudding-like texture, this pudding or yogurt-like texture. Now I am preparing some milk. We're going to use this milk in order to thin out the batter until we have the correct consistency. I am now mixing in the baking soda and the baking powder into the flour and adding all of that into our soft, wet ingredients, Now, unless we add some milk, it's gonna be a bit too difficult to whisk. The batter will be too hard and dry. So we're adding a couple of splashes of milk until the batter is just the right consistency. Actually, we're adding all of the milk, which was about 50 milliliters of milk that we added to our batter. And I almost forgot that we should add some vanilla extract into the mix as well. I'm glad I remembered. So we can have a bit more depth of flavor in these blueberry muffins. Some blueberry muffins. It is almost time for us to grab the blueberries for the blueberry muffins. So I am grabbing this strainer and adding all of the blueberries to it and giving that a quick rinse. I am rinsing the blueberries so that no scum or dust or dirt remains on the blueberries. Not that they had any. Now the rinsed blueberries go into the batter, and we're going to slowly and softly fold them in using a rubber spatula. We fold in the rinsed blueberries into the batter, folding them in much like a banana bread, in my opinion, benefits from some crushed walnuts. So I am using a mortar and pestle to crush up these walnuts so I can put them into the batter alongside the blueberries as well. We don't want to completely pulverize these walnuts. We still want them to have a bit of bite, a crunchy surprise inside the blueberry muffins. I am now folding the walnuts into the batter, just like we folded in the blueberries as well. Folding in the walnuts, just like we folded in the blueberries. Now I have this muffin tray, which has space for 12 muffins. And we also have these paper muffin liners, but they are quite large, and also I only had 5 large ones, so I am using 5 large ones and a couple of small ones as well. Now the recipe said to fill the muffin liners up to the top, not leaving space. So I did, naively thinking that they weren't gonna grow into some monstrosities. But alas, there is baking powder and baking soda in these muffins, so they're gonna develop into some big monstrosities in the oven later, because I filled them to the brim. As you can see. I'm also topping them off with a piece of walnut on top. And once we have them topped up, we're going to put them in the oven at a pretty high temperature of 220 degrees Celsius for a couple of minutes, like 4 to 5. And then we're going to turn the temperature down to 180 degrees Celsius and bake them for another 10 to 12 minutes. As you can see, the batter has risen significantly and is spilling onto the muffin tray. But all good. The small ones actually look very, very appetizing, and the big ones are gonna taste just as good. They just won't be as pretty. Now I am using a toothpick to test if the muffins are done, and am judging that the small ones are indeed done, and the big ones need a bit more time in the oven. So I'm using this spoon to help extract the muffin from the muffin tray, and we're taking all of these small ones out of the tray and placing them to the side, which was these 4. Actually, it was 5, but one of them sadly perished by falling onto the ground. It fell onto the ground and perished. Sadly, it perished. Now we placed the big muffins back into the oven for 3 to 4 minutes, and they are now also done and ready to be extracted from the tray as well. And now here we have this beautiful finished muffin. Let's have a look inside. That is magnificent. I do encourage you to make these muffins yourself. Just eyeball the recipe. I'm sure it'll be fine. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider dropping me a like or subscribing. And check out some of my other videos as well. And I'll see